This is the journey from scratch to success.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to From Scratch to Success, where I interview the most successful entrepreneurs about their journey. My name is Jay Ma, your host, and today's guest is Burton Baloubi. He is an emerging recording artist and creative visionary, balancing a demanding corporate career while building his presence in music. His journey reflects discipline, resilience, and belief, turning real life experiences into relatable, heartfelt songs. I am so blessed to have you here with me today, Burton. How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Good, thank you. So
Awesome.
tell me everything. How did it all begin? The story.
Yeah, where do I begin? Like everybody in this world, we all have dreams and passion and responsibilities. So it all started as a kid, just being introduced, born into music, but also having discipline, right? To understanding what life is about. And having to do what you have to do. There's fun and then there's business. So I was raised over that structure. Um, when it all started, obviously, as I mentioned, was from, a kid. As I got older, I always kept, music, which is really my passion. I have this demanding corporate career, but that's just what pays the bills. And I enjoy it. Don't get me wrong. But it all started from just me. I would say honestly, where it really kicked in was 8 years old when I started just having visions of what I wanted to be in life. The role I wanted to serve, the purpose, my purpose in life. I think at that age, most kids, try to start getting an understanding of what life is and what they want to be, what you want to grow up to be, this, that, and the third. That's when I knew I wanted to be in finance, and I also knew that I wanted to keep music as part of my life. From there, the journey continued. And shortly after, in my teenage years, I started this concept called Inspired Vibes, which is the name of my company now, which I run all my music stuff through. And also corporately, I work with middle market companies, anywhere from 50 million to 2 billion. It's a good balance I've been keeping for the past decade, honestly, since I've joined my corporate career. But long story short, it's the journey. We just make it happen.
Yeah, wow. That's quite inspiring from a young boy. You knew that you loved music. And obviously a really great career that you are in now as well. What sort of inspired you, Burton?
Um, what inspired me would be just, I would say, myself.
Mhm. Okay.
Uh, uh, it's funny. I talk to my friends a lot of time. I spend time reflecting. And as you know, through the journey, you go through like very different variations of yourself.
Mm,
Um, but what I mean by myself is just life, right? Just your experiences,
yeah.
going to, everything you've been through. I personally like to look at things that happened to me, not,
Hmm.
in the sense that it's, darn it, like why did it happen, but more so it's meant. So I reflect to the previous versions of me that endured through a lot, and that's what inspires me to keep going because with time comes evolution, and we just got to keep going. Inspired
Wow.
vibes.
Wow. Now, was there any early challenges or doubt that you faced?
Yeah, absolutely. Just doubting yourself, right?
Hmm.
Building confidence. Not necessarily when you're traveling the path on that most people don't travel. You tend to doubt yourself. Am I supposed to do this? Right? A lot of times it's easier to follow the crowd, but when you have these visions and you don't know how you're going to get there, but this is what you're supposed to do. You start talking yourself out of it a lot of
Hmm.
times. So I faced a lot of insecurities growing up, just doubting myself. But over the years, I understood why I was doubting myself, and the journey that I'm on, why it's not for everyone.
I want to just dive in a little bit deeper. How did you overcome that self-doubt? Because I think a lot of people watching might feel the same. They want to pursue something, but they have that self-doubt.
Yeah. You just got to stop waiting. You
Mm,
know, we all wait for that perfect moment. Um, Fear of judgment, right? Just working in that corporate setting. What are they going to think?
mm,
As I mentioned, doubt, and also timing.
mhm,
Timing is key. That's one of the important things I've learned. And going back to perfect timing, you'll never have that perfect timing. It's just a matter of you just making one step at a time, because over time you are making progress.
Well said. Now, Burton, could you tell me a crucial turning point throughout your journey?
Yes. It would be when I lost my best friend.
Mm,
Um, that was, you know, um, a very it was a pivotal moment for me, where I understood what life truly is about. Before, I mean, this guy was this person that always, influenced me when I was
mm,
down. It's like, hey, no, keep going. Forget the haters. Forget what people are saying. No, you're good at this. You're gonna
mm,
keep getting better. But upon his passing, it just showed me how precious life is.
mm,
And at the time, I was really struggling with, do I let go of my passion for music and just
mm,
fully focus on, corporate? Um, but that event taught me that at the end of the day, you have to live for yourself. And that's one of the things he did. He always lived for himself. Doesn't matter about, the job. It's just he always did what he wanted to do. But yeah, that moment really showed me that it's important to, obviously be responsible in life, but also chase your passion. And it doesn't matter what people think, because that's part of the process.
Thank you for sharing that, and I'm sorry for your loss. But I think it's nice that you found, through that you found even more inspiration and keep going on with your journey, Burton. So tell me about your first success milestone and how did you feel?
Yeah. Success for me, both corporate and music wise, it wasn't about the numbers. It was more so about the impact.
Mhm.
When I started seeing what my contributions to both worlds was doing to the people around me, to people I'm working with, that's when knew um, there's something deeper to this. So um, I remember, just sitting back and just looking at how many people were inspired by, my resiliency. We were inspired by how well I'm able to still keep going regardless of, adversity, regardless of just anything, just having a positive mindset. And that's what really helped me refine the Inspired Vibes movement. um
Wow.
and
Yeah, and sounds like you influenced so much people around you, Burton, with your journey there. What strategy sort of helped your growth?
um Strategy, I don't know if it's a strategy. I guess you can consider it a strategy, but I work with I really, alignment is important to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say my strategy is alignment. Truly understanding, what you're doing, why you're doing, being intentional, and having a sense of purpose is I would say, my strategy. There's no one rule fits all.
Mm-hmm.
It's important to really connect with, who and what you're dealing with, to best achieve a common result. I think at the end of the day, it's, us as a human species, we're more connected than what we think. And over the years, I really put time into developing, my communication skills
Mm-hmm.
to, be more aware and in tune with what people might be going through, feeling, and that's what keeps me going, inspiring vibes.
That's beautiful. Now, Burton, what was the lessons that you learned the hard way, and how did you overcome that?
Yeah, I put my hand on the stove. Let me stop. That was the early lessons, right? I uh, one of the hardest lessons I had
Mhm.
to understand was actually through love. Um,
Okay.
it was one of those things where my brain did not understand how to process, but it also structured me to be more accepting of things that I don't have control over.
Mm.
Um, at the end of the day, I believe love is our most powerful tool and is always our also greatest weakness.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so to answer that question, I would definitely say that, and how I overcame it. I wouldn't say I overcame. I'm still surviving,
Yeah.
but it's applicable to everything else, every other aspects of of life, right? So it's just being kind, being more intentional, listening more, being more compassionate. Um, it's okay to disagree. I learned that that lesson, and once I did, it really changed the entire perspective of how I viewed life.
That's beautiful. I haven't heard somebody answer that question with love, so I appreciate just your honesty, and I feel like a lot of people can relate to that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Burton, what keeps you going?
What keeps me going?
Mm.
It's my beating heart.
Okay, he's pretty funny, guys. He's pretty funny. Yep.
I wake up every day and I get another
Mhm.
opportunity to take a breath in. That's what keeps me going. Um, at this point in my life, I'm more so understanding that I am on a path.
Mhm.
I might not have clear visibility into that, but I do know that there is a reason for each breath. So that's what keeps me going. And through that, I'm grateful that I'm able to share my story. I'm able to live my experiences to inspire others.
Hmm. Is there any habits or routines that you do that drives your success?
Yeah. And I'm proud of this one
Okay.
because in my early days, my parents would tell you, "Oh my gosh, we would have never thought this guy would be like this." But I like my 5 a.m. runs.
Oh
I used to,
wow. Okay. Yep.
I used to always be the guy that sleeps in until like 1, 2 o'clock bed rot.
Mhm.
But my routines consist of my 5 a.m. runs. This allows me to really, appreciate, you know, taking breaths, being able to be active. It also helps me, towards, my exercise goals.
Hmm.
And then after that, if I get any inspiration, I write it down, whether it's a song idea or just something to do at work that day. Then I come back and go, shower up, do the shower. This is where a lot of my creativity is kicking at. I will play some instrumentals, and I'll mentally write songs, and then I'll get a hook, TMI, but sometimes I run out the shower and just go like record it just to make sure
Yeah.
that I don't forget,
Okay.
and then, by 7:30, logged in, ready to go. Um, and where I'm at here, it's, different from Eastern time, but by 7:30, wherever I'm at, it's, I get the day started. And then throughout the day, obviously I have a day job, do that. And once I get back home, cook dinner, spend time with parents, family, friends, give myself a little time to get on social media,
Mhm.
TikTok, catch up on those. This is where you'll see me. Um, and then after that, I'll either hit the books, whether it's school, because I'm doing my graduate, wrapping up my MBA,
Okay.
or just being more into like sound, right? Learning how to engineer. Like I give myself a little education moment, and then after that, I'll turn on the podcast, whether it's or Audible, and go to bed and maybe repeat. Except on weekends, weekends we tend to loosen up a little bit every now and then. But yeah, my weekdays are typically on that type of structure.
Wow, that's a very wonderful structure. It's very productive. You get the workout down, spend time with family, inspiration throughout shower. um,
That's
no,
where the
it's
best music comes
beautiful.
at.
Yeah, that's where music comes out. Yes, I'm sure your neighbors, if I interview them, they'll probably say, "Yeah, that guy sings a lot."
Oh yeah, I almost got kicked out. I got a noise complaint.
That's so funny. That's funny. Now, Burton, how do you deal with burnout, fear, or criticism?
Mm. I look at it as an opportunity to grow.
Mm,
At the end of the day, that's they have that perception of you, and it's also nice to look at things from their perspective. I really see, you know, that being a skill that I've developed over the years, because naturally I used to be defensive. Like, no, this is not what I meant. I grew up being very misunderstood. That's why
mm,
like communication was so important to me as I got older. Um, because when I say communication, 10% of it is verbal, right? Is what we speak, but communication, in my opinion, it's everything else. It's the 90%. Being able to look at body language and everything. So, um, yeah, it's just when someone gives you feedback, that's actually a blessing in disguise, whether they see it of it like that or not. So every
mm,
time I get criticism, I take it lightly, don't take it to heart. It's never personal. um Again, with my best friend passing, it showed me that life is really not that serious. You should not stress over things you can't control. Admire what's happening, embrace it. If you could take something from it, do that. If not, your vision, stay confident to that and keep going.
wonderful. Burton, you mentioned something there, and I don't know if I can just dive a little bit deep with that. You mentioned that you grew up being misunderstood. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah. I was I have a lot of ideas, right? My personality is so open. Um, Sometimes I say things at the wrong moment. I don't mean
Mm,
any ill intent, but it's just that I always had purity of intent. But I need to understand that not a lot of people were raised like me.
mhm,
Come from the same background. We all come from different backgrounds.
that's right.
So this is where I truly understood the meaning of perspective, right?
Mhm.
Because you may think that you said A, B, C, D, but
Yeah.
they might see it as you say WTF.
Correct. Yes. Yes.
And back then, a lack of maturity, I was like, what? No, that's stupid. And then that would be offensive to them, and then I would
Mm,
just dig myself into this rabbit hole when ultimately I really meant ABCD. Plus I love you at the end.
oh, that's very
But
nice.
that really is how it all started being misunderstood, because it's okay for people to have different perspectives, but it's more important that I take that in a way that doesn't dig me into more of a rabbit hole and agree to disagree.
Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for opening up. Now, what does success mean to you, Burton?
I love that question. um Success is waking up, being happy that you were able to do everything you wanted to do. you know Success to me is not necessarily numbers, money, achievements, but more so the impact that you leave far after you're gone. So every day I wake up building towards that success. Some people may already see me as successful, but to me, I still have a long way to go.
Wow, that's beautiful.
Thank you.
Burton, the next round is quick engaging round. So short answers. Are we ready?
Are we ready? Let's go. We are.
Are we? All right. A book or podcast that changed your thinking?
Think and Grow Rich.
Best advice you've ever received?
Can $10,000 fix your problem? If so, go out there and grind.
I like that. What's one thing you wish you've done differently?
Nothing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Burton, if you lost everything, what would be your first move?
Sit down and think and reflect.
Okay. Okay. So tell me, what's next for you?
A lot. It's a very transformative year for me, as I'll be wrapping up my MBA. I'm also looking at, dropping an album. Went public as Burton Baloubi. It's been a while. People been waiting for this moment for decades. So it's finally nice to, fulfill that path. I recently dropped Since You've Been Gone, which, thank you so much.
I heard. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's really
yeah.
good, guys. You need to check it out.
Yeah, for sure. I have another single called Status coming out pretty soon. But yeah, it's just 2026 of the year grinding, really focusing on me this time, and being intentional and staying closer to the loved ones.
Love that. Future goals or dreams?
Future goals and dreams. To win a Grammy. We're winning a Grammy. I'm trying to win a Grammy.
Yeah.
And I think, over the years, I really have a lot to talk about. I have so much, whether it's, breakup, whether it's, lost of loved ones, whether it's life. It's time I not remain silent and just let the world know my story.
I love that. From talking to you, I feel like you're such a emotional, connected a person with yourself, and I find that it's so beautiful that you are sharing that and be so vulnerable with the world. So I appreciate you a lot. Burton, so advice for anyone that's watching that have a dream, what would your advice be for them?
Keep dreaming. There's no such thing as perfect,
Mm-hmm.
and there's certainly no perfect timing. Time does not exist.
Yeah.
Move at your rate and understand that trials, tribulations are there for a reason. So embrace it.
That's lovely. And make sure you go shower every day and sing, and you'll find your inspiration there.
There you go.
All right. Lastly, how does viewers get connected with you, Burton?
Yeah, for sure. You can follow me on platforms, it's Instagram, TikTok at iKing KINGBURT. So iKingBurt. Also on all platforms, streaming platforms as Burton Baloubi. So Burton BURTON, last name Baloubi BALOUBI, and I'll be there.
Yes. Well, I just want to say thank you so much for being here. I enjoyed our chat, and I look forward to meeting you in person when I'm in the US.
Sure, looking forward to it.
Thank you so much. Did you want to sing before you go?
No. Since you've been gone.
With that, I just want to say thank you, everybody, for watching From Scratch to Success. I hope you feel inspired. I certainly am. Again, my name is Jayma. Make sure you follow us Arab Media, and God bless you.